easy breath. Relax your shoulders. Feel your seat holding you up. I'd like to lead us in a moment of prayer. If that's not your thing, feel free to take it for contemplation or rest, and then we'll begin again. Our friend, find us here this morning. Find us holding many things, light and dark, gifts in both. Find us holding worry and fear for the attacks on our communities, on the families near us, on families we don't know, but know that we are connected to. Find us needing one another and needing strength. As we speak of light, we know this, that no matter how small the light, no amount of dark can extinguish it. Find that in us. For all these things we give thanks and say, Amen. I know how to turn on my iPad, don't you worry. Many people think they know the story of Hanukkah. It's often told as a tale of victory. The good guys win, light overcomes the darkness. The miracle arrives right on time. As Unitarian Universalists, we have a measured relationship with miracles. As in these words by Walt Whitman, "To me, every hour of light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me, the sea is a continual miracle. The fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them. What stranger miracles are there?" Because of the Maccabean revolt, many people connect the miracle of Hanukkah with a military victory. My intention this morning is not to tell a story that glorifies war or one that treats light as something we use to conquer what we fear. I am interested in what this story teaches about survival and the quiet courage of tending what is fragile. Hanukkah does not begin as a triumphalist holiday. It begins as a question. How do we keep going when the world is hostile to who we are? This is not only a Jewish question. It is a human one. It is the question asked by migrants who must decide which parts of themselves are safe to show. It is the question asked by queer and trans people navigating public space. It is the question asked by disabled people whose bodies are read as inconvenient or expendable. It is the question asked by anyone who has learned early on that survival sometimes requires calculation. Judaism has never answered this question with abstraction. It answers with practice, with ritual, with time marked deliberately, with stories told again and again, not because they are simple, but because they are durable. Hanukkah is one such answer. It does not deny fear. It does not cease or erase danger. It asks instead, what's the smallest faithful thing we can do tonight? Light one flame. Say the blessing. Let that be enough. This is not optimism. It is realism shaped by hope. Over time, retellings have often shifted the focus from spiritual survival to military victory. But Judaism has long remembered the holiday not as a celebration of war, but as a testimony to endurance, to the decision to keep faith alive even when the odds are small and the resources are few. This is where we find the lesson that they did what they could with what they had. Edith Wharton, who became the first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1921, wrote that there are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Hanukkah is not about being dazzling or heroic. It is an invitation to tend a flame kindled for the purpose of stating a clear intention: to shine even when it would be easier not to. Not to overwhelm the darkness, but to refuse to allow the darkness to define everything. Hanukkah is, at its heart, a home-based observance. The Hanukkah, you see two here, big one and small one, is lit where people live, eat, argue, rest, love. The Hanukkah is often placed in a window, not to preach or persuade, but simply to exist. The light is offered to the world without explanation or defense. There is even an additional piece of guidance offered by the sages. If there are prohibitions placed against you on shining the lights publicly, you can put them on your table. This matters because it reminds us that practicing faith or making ethical choices is not a spectacle or a competition. It is practiced in ordinary moments by ordinary people, choosing again and again to keep going. And here's something that must be said out loud. Placing a Hanukkah in the window is not a neutral act. Not everyone feels safe doing it in Hillsborough, in Portland. Some Jewish families choose not to display a Hanukkah not because of a lack of love for their tradition, but because of real concern for safety. And anti-Semitism is not ancient history. It is present, rising, and often violent. Hanukkah does not ask people to risk their lives for visibility. It honors the wisdom of tending light where it can survive. Choosing whether or not to be seen is itself a faithful decision, shaped by love, care, and even the memory of intergenerational trauma that echoes the question, is this safe? With the menorah in place, there is a tradition during Hanukkah of simply gazing at the candles, not using the light to read or work or accomplish anything, just looking. This is a deeply countercultural practice. It resists productivity. It resists explanation. It invites us into its presence. Rabbi David Sederberg writes that there's a custom to gaze at the menorah, to receive its light as the purest of gifts. Gazing at the Hanukkah candles or oil lamps becomes a kind of fixing for the eyes, a training in how to see. Gaze at the candles well, and your eyes get retuned. To sit with the candles is to practice patience, to allow light to be what it is without demanding that it fix everything, and perhaps even to appreciate it for its beauty. You may relate to this, as during the Christmas season, there are many opportunities to seek out beautiful lights. Gazing at the candles teaches us something else as well, that not every light exists for us to use. Some lights exist simply to shine. This is difficult for us. We live in a culture that teaches us to instrumentalize everything: time, beauty, even one another. if it does not produce, if it does not scale, if it does not justify itself, we are taught to move on. But the candles refuse this logic. They burn and shrink. They flicker. They go out. And in doing so, they tell us the truth about our lives. As Abraham Joshua Heschel warned, the opposite of good is not evil. It is indifference. Wonder interrupts indifference. Gazing interrupts it. Refusing to rush past beauty interrupts it. To sit with the Hanukkah lights is to practice being human. One more thing, and then I'll bless you with just a bit of our perspective that we wish to take. It is important to plainly say that Hanukkah is not Christmas light. Judaism is not Christianity's cousin or its precursor. It is a living, distant, evolving tradition. I was supposed to say distinct, evolving tradition with its own rhythms, values, and wisdom. So, what are our values about this? Pluralism calls us to honor Jewish life as Jewish life, not as a reflection of our own tradition. Love is the force that holds us together, but love does not protect people. We have to do that work. Covenant is a practice. Hanukkah teaches us that faithfulness is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like endurance. Sometimes it looks like choosing each other, choosing our neighbors over and over again. Even when the future is uncertain. Sometimes it looks like refusing to let fear make us forget who we are. Hanukkah is not a story about winning history. It's a story about staying in it together. And so we return to the light. We gaze at the holiday for its lessons. Hanukkah does not ask us to conquer the darkness. It does not ask us to assimilate into safety. It asks us to tend the light where we are together.